UVC NDI controller from Obsbot. It has a power over Ethernet port and an SD slot. It's got a tally light. It has a power port, a remote port, and a data port. It's metallic and a pretty rigorous aluminum casing that allows it to vent. I'm going to connect it up to my Tiny 2. Show you how easy it is. Connect it to the camera interface port. Then connect a USB-C cable into the power port. And there you go. You're set to connect your Tiny 2 and put it on the network anywhere so that you can connect it. It is an NDI device, which will allow you to connect it from any NDI host. Let's go into the web portal. When you open up your Obsbot Center, you're able to connect to your UVC to NDI device. Currently, it's listed as no device. If we click on the drop-down menu, we can see that it says Intrepid and Add Device. Add Device is if you need a tail layer, or if you want to see your tail layer products. If you notice, it does show the Intrepid, and again, we use Add Device to add any other Obsbot product that's on an NDI. By default, it's configured by DHCP and pulls in that information under the auto. If you need to, you can click on it and choose manual. The IP address is listed in a few places, above on connection type, address type, IP address, and also below in obtain IP. Click on the Enter portal, and you get to the web browser. That will show you the device name, the serial number, the MAC address, the network configuration, including the ability to multicast, which I highly recommend. Next, let's go to the Media tab, click on the encoder, and it shows you .264 or .265, also the resolution that the camera supports, as well as the UVC NDI. However, if you've chosen the HDR option, it will restrict it at 30 FPS. You can choose a different resolution when you're recording, as well as the encoded bitrate. If you choose a higher bitrate, because of the 4K image, it will increase the amount of bandwidth you would need, so please use a slider appropriately, as your network will get congested and you will see frame drops if you choose a higher bitrate. Recording depends on the micro SD card you have, so having a higher tier card allows for higher tier recording. And finally, let's look at the controls. What really matters when you're utilizing an NDI device? Being able to look at your presets. So let's go to 1, and let's go to 2, and ultimately let's go to 3. The transition is fast and smooth, and we're able to see the Obsbot Tiny 2 adjust appropriately. It utilizes the autofocus or the focusing settings you have in the images section. Here I'm going to show the delay from being able to move the on-screen wand, and it's pretty responsive. You can adjust just like if the Tiny 2 was sitting on your desk and you were looking at it. And if you notice, I'm tracking pretty high-speed objects with my beehives, but it allows us to test the product appropriately. The focusing does adjust just like if it was at your desk. The Tiny 2 does have a 4x optical focus, or zoom. So this isn't a true 4K image, but it does allow for it to zoom in on the 4K section of the beehive. We'll scroll across to the other hives. Notice the zoom and the focus works appropriately, and it's very responsive. And finally, we'll look at our third hive before we sign out here, and adjust the settings in real time just to see how it behaves. The preview window is not available in the web browser. I'm overlaying my OBS recording just for disclosure. It is the only way is to see it through an NDI device. Thank you for your time.